what we must always try and remember is sometimes doing the right thing isn't always going to be easy. Sometimes you're going to be met with a lot of internal struggle, and when you have that struggle, it's going to be a lot harder for you to maybe do the right thing because there's so many obstacles in your way. But you have to remember that being somebody who, you know, takes accountability for themselves is somebody that is very much, advanced in their emotional maturity. And it's important to recognize that we should all be growing emotionally and spiritually as well. Sometimes I see some individuals that have grown greatly spiritually, but emotionally there's a deficit. Emotionally they're very immature. So to grow emotionally, it's important that we take accountability for the things that we've done wrong and recognize that all of us do things that are wrong, and also recognize that in a big part of doing that is accepting the truth. And sometimes the truth can be hard to swallow. Sometimes it can be like taking a pill, and the pill, when you take a medication, you take a pill, it's not always going to be sweet. Oftentimes, more or less than not, it's going to be bitter. Or sometimes if you can't take a pill, you take an injection, and the injection comes with a sting. So sometimes the truth can come like that as well. But recognizing that, and recognizing that as part of your growth, if there's some sting internally you're experiencing, that's actually a good sign. It means your heart's alive. If somebody's constantly coming to you with the truth and you don't recognize it, and you don't act upon it, and you don't acknowledge it, and it has no effect on you, that's a deeper problem. So the fact that we recognize these things within ourselves, and it hurts us, and it makes us feel uncomfortable, it's important to recognize that. And lastly, one of the great points that I think oftentimes we don't look at is realizing that sometimes we can always paint ourselves as a victim in our story. And you have to ask yourself, if every situation you've had, just put them side by side and ask yourself, was I the victim in every single story of mine? Or was I the perpetrator too as well? Because sometimes you can be the perpetrator, and you can also be the victim as well. And it doesn't mean that you're an evil human being, it just means that you're struggling. But the one who is deeper in their struggle is the one who denies this reality and assumes that everyone else is to blame all the time, and never taking accountability, and always painting themselves to be the victim in every single circumstance. So you can do that when you look at individuals and you look at some people and they always paint themselves like they've been so wronged, but never really saying, I messed up here, I shouldn't have done that. It can really make you feel like you don't trust the person, and how would you? Because there's an imbalance there, right? So that's something to recognize as well in people, and to avoid certain people that never take accountability, because the day will come where you might have a conflict with this person, and you know that the tables will turn and they will turn against you because they've done that their whole life. And it's just a cycle of enabled behavior, and not a lot of heeding of the wounds that they have within them. Something to think about.